I just left the village of Chio about 3/4 of an hour ago. It's been relentless, very steep climbing on fairly difficult tracks, but I've just come across this. If I thought the tracks I've been on were difficult, this is just like rubble. Great big boulders all the way up, and it's quite steep as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Yeah. Oh well, here we go. Well, that looked a lot worse than it actually was. It wasn't that far really. Still difficult, but it was only sort of 30-40 metres I suppose. So it wasn't too bad. Still steep though, but levelling out a little bit. I'm heading up into the hills above Chio towards the Canal de Vergara, which is a huge water channel from the Galleria in the Vergara Barranco, right on the north side of Teide, which brings water around to the south side of Tenerife to the waterworks in Guia de Isora. When I get there, I'm going to follow it all the way back to Chio. It takes a big loop out towards Santiago del Teide. I'll stay overnight in my tent somewhere near the canal, because it's a handy water supply. Catch you later. I've been climbing for about an hour and a quarter now. Still quite steep up through the forest. I'm away from habitation now. You can just see a bit of cloud drifting in. It's lovely and peaceful up here though. Very pretty. Got to keep climbing until I hit the TF38 Chio to Teide Road, which I cross. I think I have to walk along it for a little while and then pick up a track heading further up into the hills. So still a bit of work to do. It really is beautiful in here. It's peaceful, quiet, not a soul around. Just the sound of the birds in the trees. It really is beautiful. Fairly certain I've walked this path before. 2 or 3 years ago I walked a section of the Canal de Vergara, camped out overnight and then came down to Chio. That's what this walk's about really. Like going back to where I finished off then and continuing the walk. So I've walked the entire water channel. A lot of this is bringing back memories, so I guess I came down this way. It's lovely despite the cloud. Well, I've been walking nearly 3.5 hours since I left Chio, and I've climbed well over 3,000 feet. Most of the walking so far has been uphill, and in the last hour or so I've been walking in thick fog. But now, as you can see, I've actually come out into some blue sky, which is a bit of a relief in a way, because after a while just walking along looking at your feet in the fog gets a bit tedious. But yeah, looking good now. Hopefully it will clear completely. The cloud has broken up considerably now, drifting about. Now I've got a great view of Teide. Cloud just swirling around. Feels like a completely different walk now to the earlier stages when I was climbing in the fog. It's like a different day up here. I'm now walking along a nice easy forest track in the sunshine, and I've just come round the corner here to be greeted by a wonderful sight of these Tachinaste flowers. There's quite a few of them, big ones as well. Really beautiful. Looks like I'm going back into the cloud again in a minute as well. Here's a demonstration of why the canary pine is so important to the island. To look at this, you'd think it was raining, but actually it isn't. Condensation coming off of the pine tree up there. If I move over away from the tree, you can see the ground is bone dry and there's no rain or water dripping at all. This is why the canary pine is very important for the island. They actually provide quite a large portion of the island's water supply, just from the condensation from the cloud that's drifting through the trees at the moment. The cloud is very damp and it condenses on the pine needles and drips into the ground, eventually refilling the underground supplies. Well, the mist is actually getting thicker and thicker, so I've decided that when I get to the water channel, I'm just going to turn left alongside it, follow it. First place I come to where I can extract water from it, I will do, and then I'll just look for the flat spot. I'm going to put the tent up and call it a day. It's a bit of a waste of time, this, really. I mean, for a little while walking in the fog is a bit of a novelty, but after a while it tends to wear off a bit, so that's the plan anyway. And probably means I'll have an extra mile or so tomorrow, but that doesn't matter. 6.5 hours walking. I've got the tent up. I'm directly below, as you can see, the canal, the water channel, Canal de Vergara. If I go just up there a few yards, there's a track that leads up to it, and there's a hatch in the top, so I've got water. Tent's up. It's extremely foggy. Lots of water dripping out of the trees. But it's quite calm and fairly warm, so it should be quite a pleasant evening. Bit of a problem getting the stakes to stay in the ground, very, very stony, and I've had to weigh them down with big rocks, but otherwise everything seems to be okie dokie. And I'm just going to get some dinner. Catch you tomorrow. Right, just after 7:30 in the morning, just packed up, just on my way following the Canal de Vergara, having camped next to it last night. Not a bad night, but the ground was quite hard. It was 6 degrees in the tent this morning, although my sleeping bag's perfectly capable of handling 6 degrees. Goes right down to about freezing, so that was okay. Packed up quite quickly, so I'm on the move already, which I like. Still looking pretty grey, although I'm not walking in the cloud at the moment, which is good news. I've got something in the region of 13 or 14 miles to go today to get back to Chio, but the difference from yesterday is that I won't have around 3,500 feet of ascent to do today, so, and I know most of the route is on forest tracks like this, so it's going to be fairly easy going really. But it's quite beautiful in here this morning, very quiet, just the odd woodpecker or bird chirping away, and yeah, it's quite pleasant. I've been going for just over an hour, probably about an hour and a quarter, and the sun's coming out a little bit now. I'm in the Montañas Negras area, and that head, I believe, is the volcanic Chio, sometimes known as Montaña Negra, the volcano that destroyed Chico. Anyway, I'm going to pick up a track that goes past that and carries on around above Santiago del Teide, that sort of area, heading back towards Chio. I'm in much more familiar territory now. Yesterday was mostly in forest, the first part of which was a 3,500 foot ascent, and the latter part of the day was in fairly thick fog. Beginning of today was more walking on the forest tracks, but I'm now, as I said earlier, by volcanic Chico, and if I spin round at this point, there's a pretty spectacular view of Teide above the clouds, and that's the forest I've just walked out of. What a fantastic view, eh? Just looking across now to the Tenerife mountains there above Masca. You can see the Masca road over there in the centre of the picture. The peak on the right with the cloud drifting across the top is called Pico de Gala, and the one on the left is Pico Verde. Some beautiful walking country around there. I'm still plodding along the forest track, making pretty good time. Fairly easy walking after yesterday, mostly level, broad tracks, no rocks or stones to deal with, so quite an easy day really. Beautiful morning. I suppose it might cloud up later, but at the moment up here it's quite chilly actually, but it's very nice. It's very calm and peaceful. I just thought I'd show you this panorama. Here, this is quite windy. The Tenerife mountains are now obscured by clouds there. There's the lava field down there from Chio, and in the background Montaña Bilma, and there's my onward route, and you can just see the Canal de Vergara, the white line there going through the trees, which is what I've been following for the last 2 days. I say it is quite windy, but it's quite a lovely day actually. Right, just finishing the walk. That's the village of Chio. Just coming back down into it now. Should be back in there in the next 10 or 15 minutes. And that's the end of the walk. Been a good weekend. The last bit on this path, it's pretty rough and steep coming down, but as you can see, but then most of the paths in this area are like that. But anyway, not much left to do.